worked.
We're live.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
Nice.
I got the people going already. I'm going.
It gets me going every time.
My favorite song now. Anyway, so we're here tonight. We got Gelder on from MSpot. Well, you have like two things now, right? It's the MSpot and then it's Red Dot, whatever.
Yeah, Red Leg Studios.
Red Leg Studios. So
Yeah.
Are those affiliated with each other or two separate things?
So I own both of them, but I have it structured so they're two separate entities. As Red Leg Studios is the production company, and MSpot is the distribution. That's where we air our products at.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. And we're here to discuss the whole Montana event. And I want to start out by saying, dude, I love the production. I thought you guys crushed it. All the angles, everything. It looked like everything was fun. I saw the heads you had printed out and all that stuff. It looked awesome.
That was all you, right? That was all the production side was all you. That was your responsibility.
Yep. Studios top down. We concept that. We had stickers of the buckle printed out, and just all that stuff was what our fun creative team comes up with, and we just try new stuff every time. And the fat heads and fat arms seem to go off pretty well.
Okay, cool. Now, is this the first time you've done something arm wrestling related, or have you been in arm wrestling before?
So I don't arm wrestle myself. I am a production guy. I work for UFC. I work for ESPN. I am on the backside of that. How we got involved in this was Red Leg Studios was hired up here for last year's Montana Arm Bender that Josh Wilson puts on. And that show went great. RVJ came out, took on one of our Montana guys out here. He won that. But the production was great. We had stepped everything up. We got into this fun, like we were going to take on the world. It was, hey, this is great. We got to do more shows. I love this. I didn't know arm wrestling was so damn fun, basically. And on the production side was fun, because one of the first things we did with that show, if you go back and look at that show, is I'm like, how can we do something new or different or just fun or creative? And I'm like, I need you to drill a hole in the bottom of the table, and then we're going to put a camera in it, and we're going to look straight up. And so that's what we've had on one of our past tables. We had a brand new one for this last show, so it didn't have the time to get in there. But when you're doing the strap up and they're, trying to get their grips, that under camera view.
That must look so cool.
Cool.
Phenomenon. Yeah, because you can see you can see how the strap's going on. You just get a whole different perspective that you don't see. So we did that show. It went off great. And then, I was like, we got to stay relevant. If you want to stay relevant, keep doing this. We got to put out some content. We got to do some stuff. And so as ambitious as we are, we concepted and came up with the Mabel Montana Armbender League, where that would be my thing. And I do that. We would basically be an exposition league, a scouting league, and then Josh would be able to pick some people for his championship 1 year, his show he does once a year. And we did 5 weeks of garage wars, literally here garage in Great Falls. A guy lets us set up a studio, a table. And if you look at the MSpot, you'll see some of these shows were literally in a working man's garage. But we do these 5 shows. We have people come in, there's $100 on the table. It's about an hour-long show. It's in, out, nitty-gritty. We found new people we've never seen before, new names. Some matches weren't great, some were. But that was the whole point of it. And the other point of it was so our production team could get to know arm wrestling that much better. What angle works? What angle doesn't work? Oh, shit, don't do that again. That sucked,
Yeah.
Just all the way around, we needed an exposition league ourselves. We're trying to figure out arm wrestling, how to present it to the masses, because the one thing I knew is like, wow, this is fun and exciting. We just have to present it in a different way. So that's what we bit off and chew. And that was a little too ambitious for Josh, I believe. And he, he kind of stepped aside. We didn't really talk for that much longer. And I did another promotion for, which is so friggin' weird, Dion Wilson, no relation to Josh Wilson. And we did his Arms Again thing, because as he had 25 Canadians come down, pull 25 Americans. And we turned it into this thing called the International Incident. And that's where we, went up and got like Brian Parliament, Dakota Shipton, all names that we had never seen or heard of in Montana before. And all of a sudden they're coming down here and they're part of the show. There was no money on the table, no nothing. They came down because they're friggin' brawlers, dude. So it's like, you've got this whole event. This is crazy. We want to cover it. We're going to do this. Also knowing in the background that I'm working with network deals, which I have such signed with Amazon Prime and Fubu and all these apps that have free content are looking for stuff like ours that are now going to start carrying it. Fight.tv. They wanted one more thing from us. They wanted I had to prove one or two more things for them. And so I did that show and we did them. And it seemed to hurt somebody's feelings. And so about a week before this show, this Country Folk versus City Slickers, I get a text from the Montana armbender, Josh Wilson, over there to saying, you know, we won't have a negotiation. You won't persuade me. You won't change my mind. But I'm not using you anymore. And out of respect to you, I'll tell you why, but we can meet up. And there's really no point to meet up if you're not going to change your mind and be persuaded or anything like that. So
yeah.
A new production company, and that's fine. I am all well with that. But the personal attacks that have gone against me have kind of been over the top, pretty unprofessional, pretty disappointing, heartbreaking, all that shit. You know, we were going to take on the world and do this, but you know, there's some differences out there. And instead of having a man-to-man talk, I got a text, you know, like a breakup text. Good God. So that was that.
Yeah.
You know, but like, so this Country Folk City Slickers that had gotten put together, you know, we talked to Dan and Steve on their podcast back in June, and just everyone was throwing around ideas and concepts, and we pulled the trigger and it went off. And so I skipped to the end. How friggin' cool was that to see Country Folk versus City Slickers? The men can't get it done, so the women have to break the tie mat, you know, have the tie.
Yeah, that was cool.
Show itself, all the hiccups, all the BS, all the road bumps. I believe the show turned out wonderful for the streaming audience, the people that came out and bought a VIP table. Everyone was entertained.
Yeah.
Entertained. So from that perspective, it was a hard road to get there, but we got there, and now everybody's looking at the footage going, wow, this is something fun. And it is. So
yeah, I saw like Dan and Steve did a podcast about it, and I kind of felt like a lot of that stuff probably could have been said. Like, I don't feel like it's a good thing to air out stuff like that sometimes, and I felt like maybe some of that could have been handled behind the scenes in a conversation rather than finding out on it, you know, like a podcast, basically.
Agreed.
But that's why we wanted to have you on, like, instead of having a one-sided situation, like, let's get both sides. And
yeah, and I appreciate that. And I saw some of the stuff, you know, they're saying, oh, he was going to cancel because of a post or this or that. It had nothing to do with that. And when I offered to cancel, I also offered a 24-hour period to get me all your receipts, and I would pay and refund all the plane tickets, the Airbnb. That stuff's in writing. It's there. So if I was so hard to work with and I was so bad to work with and just all that, you know, then why didn't you take my out? Or why, you know, it was just all these things of, again, why are we going to air this out in public on a friggin' podcast, man? Have a conversation. All this stuff was in writing. That's why we do it that way. But these are business negotiations, and you keep that stuff private. I mean, business, and not to mention, did you guys know the Country Folk lost to the City Slickers? What's all this about? It's not like you're not railroaded or anything. I mean, the reffing was great. They brought a ref. We brought a ref. Brian Parliament, you know, we brought him down from Canada.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, was a sponsor for the City Slickers side. You know, he put up money to make sure that they could get some, you know, get their sponsors to come out and all that. So it was just weird to hear ref bashing on one podcast, and then you go on another podcast and you didn't hear anything about the ref bashing.
Yeah. And you know what? So Ray Romanowski, he's one of our 98 refs.
Okay.
So he's part of our organization. Great guy, great ref. He's certified, all that. And I saw people calling him a terrible ref. Well, part of the problem is, like, when you're doing stuff like that, and if you're going to ignore elbow hops, say, if the crowd doesn't know that and they're seeing a ref not call elbow fouls, that's how they're going to react. They're going to be like, oh, he missed that elbow foul, when that was part of the agreement according to like Ray and Brian, that they were going to try to not be super strict with the rules so that the matches could be more entertaining. So for those guys that were writing like these refs are terrible, like, hey, they agreed in advance, and maybe the mistake was just not telling the crowd or something, but it was the agreement that you would ignore elbow hops to make it run smoother and quicker. And I felt bad for Ray and Brian for getting some crap as bad refs when they were just, following what the agreements were.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this much too, guys, like they're the utmost professionals. Let me back up for just 1 second. I just want, I'll keep this short and right. My best friend in the world died Friday morning before that show.
Oh, geez.
Matt Kelly, name. He is a cameraman for the Raiders, for the Vegas Golden Knights. They had huge tributes up to him on their boards. They had all that. There was a lot of shit that fell through the cracks that was on me. And that is my excuse. Yes, it's a fucking some of that shit fell through the cracks, and I apologize. Like a ref meeting. We should have had a ref meeting, made some of this stuff blatantly clear. But I fought through
it. You know what though? I feel like your job was the production part. Maybe like the promoter guys should have got together and said we need this, because they're the ones that know more about arm wrestling.
I am kind of the promoter, and as well as the guy that owns the production trailer. So I had a lot on my plate, maybe biting off more than I could chew at that juncture. It's all stuff like, man, we're just a ragbag tag of guys. There's like 8 of us doing this just as fun. These guys. So there's some things like that where I always want to have a ref. I want you to hear it from the ref. But the one thing that we made clear to the refs was, I will let you challenge your own call. If you guys think that something was so bad, you guys want to walk around, talk to each other, and then the production team can make a call on whether or not we want to look at that and recall it. Somehow or another, it turned it into people thinking that, oh, I just get a call, replay. And it's like, no, you don't get to. The competitor doesn't get to. The refs, if they want to second guess themselves, can do that. And that's what we're trying to set up. That, like, it wasn't perfect. It didn't go as well as we had hoped to. But again, we didn't have a few things set up that we wanted to do with that. But they took their first step on it, and they overturned a call that in the end was the right way to go about it with the Hunter Broughton Sam Mitchell match. They looked at it. We watched every different angle of it, and Ray he returned it or overturned. Oh,
yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
and like, come on, guys, the guy
Ray's super fair guy.
So for me, just to be able to walk up to Brian and Ray that night, maybe 2 hours before we're going live, and be like, "Hey guys, sorry, this should have been yesterday's conversation, but can you two get together and hammer this out?" And they're like, "We already did." And I'm like, "I know, because you're both friggin' professionals." And that's what it is. So they handled the reffing just fine. I'll have both of them back. I would love to have, it's
Ray spoke very highly of you.
Thank you. I mean, he was humble. He was every one of those, all of great people. And it was so fun to hear them and see them in awe of Montana and everything out here. That part was fun. So
yeah.
But yeah, the reffing, I thought those guys couldn't have done a better job working together when you're kind of like, well, I'm on this team and you're on this team and we've got to be impartial. Like, there's a lot on those guys to be, you got to be impartial. You guys got to be fair. They brought you out, we brought you down here, but you guys are refs. You don't give a shit. What you see, you call it. And I believe firmly in both of them that's what they did.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at top level arm wrestling promotions in the world, like East versus West, King of the Table, they have massive mistakes in their production and other things going on, and people bitch about those refs. So like, it is what it is. Like, no one's perfect.
First show with UFC was show 122, I believe, in Omaha, Nebraska, and people were talking shit on the refs then. Herb Dean has been there since how long? And you still have some keyboard warrior out there. He doesn't know what he's doing. Fuck this guy, blah, blah, blah. It's just, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't win them all. And there's just no need to try to go down that. Point being, there's always going to be somebody that's disagreeing with the ref. And
absolutely.
I think that's why I don't even care what people say about refs, because like 50% of the people that get refed hate the ref because they lost, or whatever.
It's unfair to expect perfection too. I mean, I don't care if it's your 100th show, mistakes are still going to be made, and it sounds like you're learning from those mistakes, and I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
You know, every show will get
It's
better.
just the same as every last one of those competitors told us. They had some jitters. There's cameras, there's lights, there's music. When was the last time? I don't know how many of these guys have been around a part of something. It goes for the refs too. They're mic'd up. There's microphones everywhere. There's cameras on them just the same. People are, this isn't a comfort blanket that they're used to. So everybody is just a little bit outside their comfort zone. So take that into consideration too, you know, and that's how we looked at it.
People just like to complain. Like one of our tournaments, Winter Blast, it's the biggest tournament in the country. And people complain like, oh, it took too long. I'm like, well, how long is it supposed to take? It's the biggest tournament. Like it's like, when I go to a tournament, I just figure I'm going to be there all day.
Right.
And some of these guys go there and they're like, man, this is taking long. I'm like, well, there's 585 entries. Like, you know, what are we, you know, we can't make it any quicker. You know?
Yeah. How did you think it was going to work exactly?
Yeah. It's, you know, but like I said, it's hard. You can't please everyone. Like some guys want cash prizes. Some guys prefer medals and trophies. So whatever you do, someone is unhappy. So
exactly, you know, and we're trying to find that even mix that's in there, you know, but more so for me, like, I guess I want to get it across, like my mission, what we've tried to turn this into arm wrestling mission is get it from people that have never seen arm wrestling and present it to them in a way that they want to come back and see more. And that is crowd roaring in the background, energy, all this stuff, guys turning and screaming at the camera, and Playboy Roy doing whatever the hell Playboy Roy does, and getting or hate him. And either way, that's what we're doing. But, you know, just want to bring it in a different way. And we're not going to be for everybody. And we're also not going to be perfect. We're also going to figure stuff out. We've already figured out stuff on the Ready Go. We know what angle we need to be at for Ready Go. We heard people, we were bouncing around too much. Shit, we're getting it figured out too ourselves, guys. But we're not going to be for everybody. But what we are going to be for is promoting this positively and getting new eyeballs on this sport, because Jesus, we can get bigger sponsorships into this. There can be Fortune 500 companies that do want to buy into this sport when they start seeing that it's being advertised and promoted and done in a good light. And everyone bashing everybody and ref bashing and all that. You think Coca-Cola wants to put money down on some shit like watching the, you know, a midnight slumber party of girls crying at each other, or what, man? So
I take it then that this event is not going to deter you from future events. You're definitely full steam ahead. You want to keep promoting in arm wrestling and pushing things.
The only thing we do, and we're rebranding. You know, I own the name Mabel. Josh owns the name Montana Armbender Championship. It's too confusing. It was clear as day before you come through the league. You can go into that. We're not going to explain that anymore. So we are branding. We will come back. That stuff's happening with our ad agency right now. We called them, said, hey, look, here's the situation. So it's looking like, I'll tell you this, New Year's Eve, we're going to be launching the debut of the new brand and a new collaboration on New Year's Eve. There's going to be a show that we'll have live on the MSpot and Fight.tv and all the Amazon, all the places you can find it. But our new brand, all that stuff will be unrolled at that time.
Cool.
That's the only thing.
Now, do you want to only work with arm wrestling in Montana, or do you want to get involved in arm wrestling all over the country?
I want to be involved all over the country, but to drag my 20-foot mobile production lab, like that just automatically doubles the price.
Yeah.
Me trying to go somewhere and do something. Whereas, you know, we're not always going to be in Great Falls. We're going to take this to different, like this show's not going to be in Great Falls on New Year's Eve. It's going to be elsewhere. But I would rather have the money spent for people to come out where we know we have the proper venue, the proper, how we want to put on a good show, how we know how to do that, than have you try to have me come out to somewhere that we might not be able to get the lights in. We might not be able to get the overhead camera. We might not be able to do this, that. And, so the way I'm kind of looking at is I would rather continue this. Your team comes out and takes on our team. And, the whole country folk versus city slickers, just, that can turn into whatever city name behind it, that stuff. But yeah, as much as I would love to say, yeah, I would love to. Driving to Florida with that truck would take 4 days and how much money to get it there.
Right.
But when
you're sticking with the,
then yeah, we'll have the money to do that. No problem.
But you're sticking with the theme of like the city slickers versus, whatever, or are you?
We're working around a bunch of different stuff like that. But as far as us paying to have a team come up or paying for money to be on there and working whatever negotiated deal it comes out. I mean, hey, if there's no money on the table, then I can pay to fly you out here and put you up. You want $5,000 on the table like we did, then you can come out here and you can have a part of that. Like there's negotiations every which way that can be done with it. And I'd rather negotiate with somebody how I could get you out here. Plus, I mean, don't you want to come out to Montana and see some?
Yeah. The only reason I was asking is because the city slickers were talking about doing city slickers versus Florida.
Right.
So I think they're going to stick with that theme too. And then it's like, okay, now you got 2 city slicker themes going, or?
Correct. So when I say rebranding all the way around, it's going to be branded all the way around. And, because quite frankly, country folk versus city slickers doesn't have any value to it unless there's a production to see like, hey, there's no pictures. It didn't happen. So whatever. I mean, take something that we've replicated, we've made, you go and do you, we're going to do us. People are going to see what they want, watch theirs, watch ours, watch them both, just as long as people are promoting it positive.
Right.
So if I understand you correctly, where we're currently at is you're basically taking a loss on these events just to kind of proof of concept.
I haven't taken a single dollar from a competitor. And we've always had money on the table with the exception of Dion Wilson's Arms Again. And he's the promoter for that. But I will tell you this much, during Garage Wars, when I would have Kevin Playboy Roy come down and my 5 or 6 production staff guys come down, I was paying for the hotels for all that. Those 5 weeks, I spent $10,000 in hotels and Airbnbs alone. I believe this sport can be brought up in, we've got some other goals of where we're going to take this network wise, and I believe we can get there. And I just have to keep doing what I'm doing to prove to those people that I know what they're looking for, what they want to see from me, my production company. They want to know you can do the whole thing. Can you make a poster that doesn't look like, can you make a poster? Can you promote it? Can you do all these things? So we just, out here and just going to keep proving ourselves that we can do that. And I think we'll get to our goals. It's not out of reach at all. And if I have to self-fund it to do it, shit, I'm doing it. That's what we're doing. I appreciate all the sponsors that we've had. Luke Cody at Gear Grabbers Garage here in Great Falls I don't have to ask him. He just knows. Like, I know that he's going to help split this cost, that cost. He'll be up at 6 a.m. to help me bring in a table somewhere. He delivered the practice table to the guys over to their Airbnb. He had to go and pick it up in the morning on Sunday when they left. Just a hell of a good guy. So, but yeah, we're doing this thing one way or another, and
yeah, we both know where you're coming from, because Mikey owns a league and I own a league, and we struggle with the same things, sponsors and this and that. But I think you're right, like making it positive, and one of the main things is like right now, it's arm wrestlers that watch arm wrestling.
Right.
The key is to figure out how to get non-arm wrestlers excited about watching it. That's the whole goal.
That's what our goal is trying to be. Like, you're preaching to the choir. You can say all the cliche things, but it is. You are literally preaching to the choir. So let's find new people, new faces, because hey, some of these Great Falls shows, I grew up here. I went to school here, high school, all that. So I've invited a couple high school friends that came out to this that now are like demanding that they get first right to buy VIP tickets to this arm wrestling stuff we're doing, because it's amazingly new fun. And these are the guys that when you see in the videos, like, didn't matter if it was city slickers or country folk who were winning, they're in the back giving these guys high fives, screaming in the fucking juice.
That's awesome.
you know? So
That's important to keep that quality of production value that you did, because having the different angles and the replay, like it made you feel like you're watching an actual sport and not just some guys in a bar screaming at each other.
Correct. And we're going to up our production game like we've always wanted to do. You know, we want you to get to know the arm wrestler. We want you to have a reason to root for Mikey. You know, hey, where do I know Mikey from? I've seen him on a podcast, this or that. But when you find out that, oh, this guy's a fireman, I'm a fireman, or my dad was a fireman, I'm rooting for him. Like, it takes the smallest thing to associate with somebody and become a fan of theirs. And you don't tell people. You know, we do people's bios as they're walking out and their walkout out there. You get to see where they're from, kind of what. But we're going to turn that into their own words. You know, they'll be telling us that, and so the production value is going to be aimed at making fans of our guys. You know, we got team jerseys for them. Their last name, you know, Hunter the Hitman Broughton.
Yeah,
we want to know who Hitman is without having to say Hunter Broughton. You know, that's how we want to take this sport. You know, people being huge fans of guys is going to make other people fans of it. So,
yeah, I that's you know, kind of like I always compare it to like some of these like WWE guys. You know, like they have characters, they have backstories, and that's what the fans like to see.
Yep.
And that's what it's going to take to make arm wrestling mainstream like that. You know.
Yep. I mean, who doesn't love hearing the story of the guy that was living out of his car, and next thing you know, he's got the belt on, you know, and he persevered and he got through there. But there was an outlet for him to do that, and that was the fighting and the production that people see you fighting for, you know, and that's what I want to do, you know, give them the platform that so many of these other sports have. And that's where we're going with it. So, and the replay thing, I think, is huge in it. We're trying to work it out, but we're going to make it so that there's a set of rules that every major league sport out there, every major sport has official review. Humans make mistakes, but are going to look at, you know, have all these angles be able to look at, and then have it worked out ahead of time. This is what we'll call little small bobbles. I don't want to see nobody on stream wants to watch somebody win by fouling out, right? So yes, we're going to have, you know, we're going to go IFA rules, but they're going to be modified to make a show move along a little better. And that's what Brian did. And they were good at it. Like, you know, half of those matches could have been ended on fouls. No, we don't want that. That's not
it's not entertaining. Exactly.
And there's a big difference between super matches and tournaments.
Yeah.
Like tournament, you want the strict rules, so it's fair and this, that. But on super matches, they're usually on a live feed and you want it to be exciting. Because like nothing is worse than watching like East versus West. And there's 100, even for an arm wrestler that understands what's going on. And you're like, what the fuck do they keep stopping this for? Like, let them arm wrestle. And imagine fans that don't know why they're stopping it every 2 seconds. They're going to be like, what the? I'm not watching this shit. Like,
I'm out of it. And then on top of it, you never hear like for us with our commentating team, when I brought in Tugboat, he's our play-by-play guy. And then I bring in like Kevin's the analyst and he's the arm wrestler. I brought in Tugboat for a reason. Yeah. He doesn't know arm wrestling the same as I did. So he can teach the crowd why he's learning, asking dumb question, but asking it smartly, articulate. And that's
what he did good too. Yeah.
Heard in that first show is like, hey, I don't feel like I'm watching all this good old boys club. I have no idea what these inside jokes these guys are making are about. This guy here's like, oh, that's why the ref just stopped that. That's what's going on, because the refs sometimes, you know, you're not clear what, you know, there isn't the holding or the clipping sign that the ref gives that you necessarily know right away. And that's kind of what we're going to continue to bring this is talk to, like, not like a newbie, but there's going to be newbies in here and we have to refresh it. The good old boys that have all been in the garage wrestling for a few years and we're all talking to each other. We're trying to get a whole class of people involved in this, and that's what we're tactfully trying to figure out how and where. But this last show I thought was wonderful. Dakota Shipton,
you're great.
The kid's smart, and he had never had, you know, he's got the headset on, and I'm in his ear like, all right, here comes another replay. All right, here's one more look. That's jarring to people. Of all of a sudden, you're trying to call him. match and Gelder's in your ear? Like, what's going on? You know,
Yeah.
Like a professional, but the three of those guys sitting up there and calling a show, I thought the commentating team was pretty amazing.
I thought it was great. I told Dakota, you found your calling, dude.
Oh my gosh. And then there's Kevin Roy. I mean, just come on.
He's great.
You talk about that WWE persona. I had said that the other night. I was just like, and in all love, it's like when I first met Kevin, I was like, what is this guy doing? Oh my God. Like, hadn't met him and he's up there. And then I meet him after.
I was really helping you win.
I'm like, I love you. We need you, want you. And he's turning into what he's turning into, man. And it's great having fun with it. And we have fun with it. So it's a good organic little chemistry that we got going on between our crew at Red Leg Studios and all these guys. And I think you guys are seeing it. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, if any of our audience wanted to watch this, is it on YouTube or is there a website they can go to?
YouTube and search the MSpot. You'll find us. It'll pop up. We've got 31 subscribers. I think the video is only at 2,000, which is weird. We've had so many more in Garage Wars. Not sure what the algorithm's doing. But yeah, and then you can check out our Garage Wars. But also with that, you're going to start seeing. So when I signed this deal with all these guys, they bought the back catalog to Garage Wars and to Armsgeddon. So people are going to be shows that happened last year and all that is good or bad. They were. The content's getting out there. There's going to be a flood of arm wrestling out in the streaming world and market, and we're happy for that.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I'll definitely I'll share the link to it all over our community too.
Yes,
just to get it out there so people can check it out.
I appreciate it because I mean it was a great show. Great. I mean that Vladimir dude, come on, coming in same arm.
Yeah.
God. And he's so funny, he's just like, he tells one of our country folk guys, you made lots of mistake. I tell you back there. Did wrong.
See,
that's classy, man. That's cool. Everyone, and I heard all the, if you didn't see it, maybe the camera cut off, but these guys all hugged. They all handshake. They all were good competitors to each other. It was wonderful.
Yeah, that's good. All the, I mean, I know everybody there that went from the City Slickers personally, just because I'm from the Northeast. So a lot of those guys come to our tournaments, and Steve's a promoter in New York, but I like Maddie, I come from the same team she came from. So it was cool to see people I know there, and like I said, Ray's part of our organization. So it was really cool to watch and see that, and but yeah, I think
fun, man. Did like the walkouts? Did it look fun?
Dude, it looked awesome. Yeah.
Everybody looked like they were having fun to me, man.
And high fives and stuff. Yeah, that was cool.
Absolutely.
The energy of it, you could feel it through the production.
There's nothing eating off the crowd, the energy of the crowd anyway, man. I mean, as you're walking there, the lights are going, the music's going, and you have people giving you knuckles the whole way down. You're walking on into the arena or what have you. But man, it's exciting, and I hope it gets the competitors juiced and want to come back. That's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something me and Mike talk about all the time. Like, how can we get more people involved that are not arm wrestlers to come out and want to watch this?
It's difficult. It's definitely challenging. Yep.
It is, because I mean, let's face it, people have a connotation to it. I mean, we'll go into a new venue to be like, hey, we've got this thing coming up. It's arm wrestling. We were wondering, and they're like, whoa, wait, what? And it's almost like they have more questions than if you said, I'm going to hold an MMA match in here and guys are going to beat the shit out of each other. And they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. But all of a sudden they're like, arm wrestling? Like what kind of people are those or whatever? And you're like, they're good people, humble people. Like, what kind of connotation do you have to this? But we've run into it a couple times where one venue flat out was like, no, I don't want that shit in our like okay, but you'll have a mud wrestling contest,
right? Yeah, that's classier.
Yeah.
The sad part too is most arm wrestlers are super cordial in a in like even if it's a bar or a restaurant or a venue, good sportsmanship. I've never seen anybody like ruin anything or do something crazy. Like, the worst case, someone slaps the table or something. Like that's
Productions. That's great. We've got this cat in our Garage Wars. I think he was the very first guy that had to come, like, show 1, episode 1, match number 1, and he comes out and you hear him smack that table and the powder.
Oh yeah,
it looked good. That's when it's all in good for, like, he was stoked and excited, and that's great to see. But throwing a fit or going outside and screaming and yelling at people and stuff like that after you lose it's just unacceptable. Not good sports.
Yeah, I agree. And we started a thing. Maybe you could join it. We started a thing called the Arm Wrestling Roundtable, where we have promoters from all over the country. We do a Zoom meeting and we just brainstorm. And we had our first one like at the beginning of the month, and we're having another one at the beginning of November. So maybe we can add you to that. You could give some input also, and you can hear what some of the other promoters are like, some of the issues that we're all trying to figure out. Also, one of the topics at the next meeting is how to schedule in the United States without stepping on each other's events.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's going to be a hot topic.
Part of that, because those are all things we had tentatively set up a December 14th show, but our Canadian friends who were at Ty's funeral today, they lost one of their guys up there. His celebration of life and a tournament and everything that they got going on is on that day. There's not a chance in hell I'm going to do a show knowing that all of our Canadian friends up there are hurting and are going to be out celebrating this guy's life. So it's one of those, like, we need a round table. We need somewhere to know of, like, hey, no, that just won't be good. Now, we all know that you just can't cater to everybody on, hey, I know your state tournament's there, but you're 3 states over. I don't think we're poaching people from your stuff, and I don't think you'll be poaching guys from our stuff, but at least let's get those dates out there. So that's
we got a guy already that he keeps track of all the tournaments here in the whole Northeast, and he's willing to do it for the whole country. So we're going to suggest, like, just submit your dates to him, and then if someone has a question, they can just ask him, like, hey, what are some good weekends that are open in this month that aren't going to step on someone, and there's different kinds of tournaments. There's like tournaments that are huge that could be affected by something in the country. And then there's all our local tournaments that would only be affected locally by locals, so there's different levels of tournaments.
And on that note, do you differentiate between, I feel like there's a huge differentiate, but if I'm doing 10 super matches on Saturday night, is that taken away from your bracket tournament that you are doing state? Is it just the simple fact that arm wrestlers might come to ours versus yours? Or is there hey guys, I only like to do super matches. I don't want to go through a bracket and do a tournament, or vice versa. So do you have to, it's a question, just throwing it out there. Like, do we say, hey, I'm doing 10 super matches versus I'm trying to do a 10-hour, 500 guy tournament? It kind of,
like something like that wouldn't affect, anybody. So that's the kind of things I want to get everybody's input on, so that we can just get that ball rolling to see, is there a solution to, like your super match tournament probably wouldn't affect my Winter Blast, but
that's my question.
Yeah, but Minnesota States might affect Winter Blast because people from all over the country come to Winter Blast. So those are things like the major tournaments try to avoid each other. The small ones, it's more on a local scale. Yeah. But we're trying to build the group so that also, like, if we were to split everybody into a region, like, those regions can also figure out their own schedules together,
right?
For their areas, and we'll have the roundtable as a more global thing. But so far, it's going good, and the more people that are a part of it in the community, I think the better. The
more voices that can be heard are better.
Right?
Absolutely.
have a voice, use it. Hey, I wanted to pick your guys' brain on this because it's something my production staff and we have been talking about. We've done on several of our shows where the Friday night before the Saturday show, we do a weigh-in and grip up, I call it, just so that the guys go up, grip, and it's a promotional picture. This isn't UFC. We're not about to stand in front of each other and beat the shit out of each other. So I don't understand why we do face-offs in arm wrestling, because it feels like there's that chance that one guy is so juiced up he's going to hit the other guy, and then like,
you might as well just do flat boxing.
Right. So it just, I don't know. Do you guys have an opinion? Do you think a face-off between two arm wrestlers, just chin to chin, nose to nose, looking at each other, really, is that encompassing of, all right, now you have a table between you and you're going to settle it with your arm?
I like your grip up idea.
Yeah.
Like have them grip up at the table as the face off.
I've always felt the face off. They're a little cringy.
Yeah.
At this Friday night, and a guy would weigh in, next guy would weigh in, we'd do a prediction, and then Dakota shipped in, stand behind the table, and the two guys got up there, gripped, and we took
some good pictures and stuff. Yeah. That I like that idea. The face-off thing, I agree with Mikey. It's a little cringy, but a grip up is pretty cool. Yeah.
Right.
Have them grip up.
That's, we
whatever hand they're not on.
I come from a whole different world, but that was one of the first ones I was like, why are these two guys chin to chin right now? Because they're going to settle it with their arms. And anybody that's looking at this is going, oh, is this an MMA? Is this boxing getting ready to go off? And this grip up, you know what you're about to go and do. So, and it's not any less cool. I mean, you guys are still giving each other the stare down. If you want, go for it,
Have them grip up with the off hands that they're not arm wrestling with.
We've been. I'm sorry, did I miss a question?
I just said, have them grip up with their offhand that they're not actually competing with.
That's why I said even so.
Arm wrestlers never want it. Like a lot of arm wrestlers won't even shake hands with each other with the arm they're going to arm wrestle with to avoid like any kind of feeling.
Have you come across a lot of arm wrestlers? I've only come across one in my entire time in the sport.
Who, you?
Yeah, only one.
One that what?
That
wouldn't shake my hand with his arm wrestling hand.
Dude, I've seen a ton of them like that.
Really?
Yeah. Or they won't, like, you know how arm wrestlers always grip up like to say hi? Yeah. They won't do they like
really
offhand you so that you can't feel anything,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Auden Laird is the only person I've ever seen do that.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, he's kind of strange anyway. He's trying to be like his dad.
I don't know if Devin does that though, does he?
No, he likes to do that because he learns a lot about his opponent if he grabs their hand and feels something, But
each their own.
Yeah. Well, so what's the next step for you after you rebrand? Do you have anything in mind for like your next thing?
Yeah, then we're getting together 4 or 5 badass super matches for New Year's Eve. We're going to go into I think we can we spill the beans here on New Year's Eve, shall we say? We're going to add some violence into the night. We're collabing with somebody else. We'll introduce their audience to our arm wrestling, and our arm wrestling audience will get introduced to their violence pretty quick.
So this collab is someone outside of arm wrestling.
This is Slapfest.
Okay, all right.
Get out of some guys. So we're getting that put together. It's gonna happen. We'll have a collab. And New Year's Eve. What could go wrong for 2 hours of good entertainment, and then some violence, and then some alcohol, and then send you out into New Year's Eve here in Montana.
So how do we watch this event?
That will be on MSpot. So anything that airs on MSpot will obviously be on the YouTube channel, but it's going to be on fight.tv. It'll be on all these other channels. We're trying to get better. We're trying to figure out who is actually carrying it live, because right now it's one of these where these companies say, hey, this MSpot, this Red Lake Studios has this New Year's Eve production. It's going to be 2 hours long. It's live. Who wants to carry it? And then that's how the deal starts from there. And then people start saying, we want to carry it. We want to carry it. We want to carry it. And that's how that'll go. So we don't necessarily know who win. This is a new relationship that we had just cultivated. So we're still trying to figure it out on our side, on our side as well. But it will always be on the MSpot's YouTube channel.
Nice. Well, if there's anything we can do to help promote, me and Mikey promote everybody, and
absolutely,
whatever we can do. We both have large followings, so
and I was quite humbled to get the invite to come on the show, and everything's that's amazing. Because we will. Who's here? Sorry, I see you guys have that on your backdrop, and that is that one of you guys directly, or because we had a Pro Gear sticker on our on our table for the event.
No, you didn't.
So,
Ray. Ray Romanowski brought a bunch of stickers, and he was sticking them like our 98 stickers and some other stickers on stuff. So it was kind of cool
to have that on there. But no, like on the tabletop itself, through the podcast. I
saw the Pro Gear sticker on there.
Nice.
Yeah, and was on the legs and all that, and that's what we did for for the city slickers going out and to get sponsors. We want to give them value for that, so we put them on there. There was the big backdrop with the buckle; they got to be on there as well. And then when you watch the show, I mean, we have commercial breaks, like quick in and out commercial breaks, but it's like today's show has been brought to you by Pro Gear. This at progear.com or however, so anybody who is a sponsor for that got shout out and love on the live stream. That's how we always will do it. But
I liked how you did that.
Yep,
that was good.
That you're helping out the world, and that's what we're going to do is shoot it right back out to the world. That's who's helping us. Doesn't matter if you're in New York or Montana. People want them to recognize your brand name. So,
well, hey, if you're not doing anything in March, come on out to Winter Blast and check it out.
Where's it at? Give me the deets, man.
And, this one's going to be at the Valley Forge Casino Resort just outside of Philadelphia.
Okay.
And like I said, largest tournament in the country so far. So maybe we can hold that record this year. We'll see.
Absolutely.
There's a few tournaments that come close to us. So like we're always kind of going back and forth with those guys. Like, oh, we're bigger this year. And then they're like, we're going to crush you this year. And we kind of, like friendly banter about who's going to be bigger. But
one of the things that we do want to do during the stream is kind of have an event calendar. So, take 30 seconds to say, and some of the bigger upcoming shows around the country are this, and that. And so we're looking into that kind of formula. So yes, we definitely want to have that. And then get us no problem, man.
If you send us a list of your events, we'll add it to our list that we promote. And our guy Dave Shell does an episode on our podcast he just lists off all the events going around that people send to us. So, the more the merrier, I think. So we try to promote everybody, and we'd love to add you to the list of events and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I love it, guys.
Cool, man. And I appreciate you coming on like on short notice, but I saw like right away, like I know Italia had you on, and then I was like, oh, maybe he'll come on ours too after. So
that was no, guys, thank you so much. And it's been good to just, clear some air a little bit. There was some things out there, but I feel like that's all water's under the bridge at this juncture. The show speaks for itself. Everybody can now go back and rewatch it and relive it and have fun and look forward to the next one. So if you're ever bored on a Friday night, every Friday night we do a podcast called FTG Friday Night Live, and it's just anybody from around the country can just or even in the world can hop on our podcast and talk. It's just an open source, and we get all the guys from Australia that hop on, Paul Italia, Mikey, and we just shoot the crap all night long. Like sometimes the podcast goes 8 hours, but it starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So open invitation to anybody if any of your Montana guys ever want to hop on. Oh, they do. The Wilsonator gets in there. He pubs us well. Kevin Roy's usually, and Playboy Roy's getting in there.
Yeah, he's coming on soon for an interview.
Nice. Hey, one last question for you guys, because I'm working the show. Who's
Nice.
going to Tyson or Paul?
I say Tyson.
I think Tyson too, man. Here's the one thing I'll say though, man, don't bet against Jake Paul, because every time I was like, oh, he's not going to win. I don't know, man. But officially, I would say Tyson.
A lot of guys blew smoke, but when you look at Tyson, and I mean, I don't know.
Dude, one wrong hit from Tyson, and it's all over, dude. Like,
man. So anyhow, maybe I'll join you from that fight that night if I if I can sneak in ringside or some shit like that, man. I'll
nice.
Group and say hi from the sidelines over there.
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Well, good luck with everything, and I'll reach out to you and get your email and stuff, and I'll add you to our list because we send out the link to the email for the roundtable.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Part of that, yes, sir.
All right, awesome. Thanks, man.
All right, Ryan, Mikey, appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it. That was good.
Yeah.
Both sides, you know, like
He really is.
it's
He
only
seems,
fair.
seems like a good guy.
Yeah, dude, he looks like he's doing some good things. And for someone who's not an arm wrestler, he seems to really care about promoting the sport properly.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. We need that too. I mean, there's always promises in arm wrestling, and you know they're going to make it big and bring in big sponsors.
It's going to be in the Olympics, you know, like yeah.
I mean, I think he's off to a great start. It sucks that you know that things didn't go well in this one. It's really unfortunate, you know.
I just wish it would have been handled differently. Like, like why burn the bridge? I mean, it's okay to decide to work with different people,
sure,
but it's unnecessary to like end a relationship over it.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I'm such a fucking empath, man. I mean, just hearing that his buddy died,
it's like, oh man,
yeah, I give him a pass on a couple fuck here or there.
Dude, and like I said, I mean, you look at King of the Table, that's not perfect. They have audio problems and fucking video problems all the time.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, dude, if the major ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's got the right mentality. I mean, he's definitely not, doesn't sound arrogant. And, I think it sounds like he wants to learn from his mistakes and, keep bringing bigger and better events.
Yeah. Maybe, send him a formal invite to Winter Blast, see if he'll come out and check it out.
So I mean, does it feel similar to like what High Five is doing, or is this a different avenue?
I don't know. I like that he. I mean, High Five is doing. I mean, their level of production. You saw it; it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's different. I mean, because he's not doing top level super matches. It's
right. That's what I was thinking too.
Average, decent players in America that are just not known as much as like the Knuckles Up guys. But
is there enough production value in that? I mean, of course, you bring somebody in from Florida, all my Florida guys are going to want to watch it, but does the whole US want to watch the for lack of a better term, mediocre arm wrestlers? I don't know if that's going to hold them back.
Right. Well, that's the trick is like us as arm wrestlers, like if you know a guy, like I mean, I only watched because I knew every fucking city slicker.
Right.
Mean, if it was guys I didn't know, I might not have watched.
If you look at it like this too, I mean, college football sometimes is more popular than the NFL. And you can look at it like this is like college football. These are the guys who are looking to get into the big leagues and, the up and comers. I guess it has another aspect to the sport.
See, it's hard. Like I'm biased because of our Concept 98. Like these are the kinds of guys that we only focus on anyway.
Yeah.
So, when we throw super matches, it's to give our local guys or guys that aren't well known a platform to get well known and try to boost their, people knowing them. So we're already kind of in that concept of like trying to give people opportunities that normally might not get an opportunity because people either don't know them or they don't travel or because I mean, I'm sure you have the same thing. Like we have killers here that just don't travel. So they're only known locally.
That's a good point.
And I'm sure you have some too. And nobody knows until they show up to a tournament and they get smoked by someone they have no idea who that, They're like, oh my God, who is that guy?
Yeah.
but we got a lot of guys like that here. But it did look awesome to watch it, having that production level on guys that are like lesser known. Like it was still made it awesome to watch with the replay, instant replay.
Yeah.
You know, like I would love to be able to do an instant replay like that. That was cool. They had the over the table look, and like you said, they had the up through the table one. I'm like,
to see it under the table.
I want to go look at that. Like I got to find it. You know?
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But yeah,
that's cool.
But yeah, I thought it was really cool, and I like the concept of traveling out, but like the amount of money you have to put into like that whole travel thing. Like I know like a lot of the city slickers they covered their own flights out there. Like I think a lot of people that they had asked said no because they couldn't do that.
Right.
You know, like, oh, you know, I can't afford that right now, or I can't get that much time off work or away from the family or whatever reason. It is hard to travel for arm wrestling when, you know, arm wrestling doesn't really give a lot back, you know?
It's true.
So I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, do you think that concept needs to be tweaked, or do you think it could work out? Or
I think the concept is there. It's going to come down to funding. You know, I don't think your average arm wrestler is going to be able to afford to take time off of work, travel expenses, things like that. But like the college football example, I think there's a lot of people that would be entertained. I'm excited. I didn't watch the original. Now that I know it's on YouTube, I'm going to go back. I'm going to watch it. And as far as I know, there isn't a single match on there that's high level, as far as like a Michael Todd or Todd Hutchings, right? These are all just local guys. So, I'm excited to watch it, and there's no quote unquote celebrities on it. So, if it intrigues me, why wouldn't it intrigue the rest of the arm wrestlers,
Yeah. And I think, that's the key word right there. It is intriguing to arm wrestlers.
Absolutely.
But it's not intriguing to non-arm wrestlers.
Yeah. When you look at guys like E.T., the Whisperer. He's not. At this point now, he's got a little bit of clout as an actual arm wrestler, but his claim to fame was not being an arm wrestler. And he became famous. So
I agree, dude. I think though, like the way the City Slickers were portraying how they were going to film like all the stuff in the house, I think that maybe needs some tweaking, because like they did do some of it, but I'm watching some of the live feeds and I'm like, no offense to anyone, but I don't care what so-and-so ate for breakfast.
Yeah.
Like unless these are people that you can build up a following for.
Sure.
Like I think there has to be like a build up so that the people, like, you watch American Idol or something. If someone just gets up there and sings, no one gives a shit. But when they show that whole backstory and they're like,
right,
oh, this guy was homeless and now he's coming and he sings, and then you're like, oh, you're rooting for that guy.
I love the backstory idea. I think that's great. But I think one of the main reasons that the UFC works with the house is at some point they're going to beat the shit out of each other.
Yes,
so it makes sense that there's a buildup.
Yeah.
Arm wrestling, if they were going to, if it was a chess match against each other, I don't know how entertaining it would be to watch them interact prior to that.
I agree. That's the hard part, is how do we get non-arm wrestlers interested in watching arm wrestling? And like East versus West or King of the Table, when it's real strict and there's a lot of fouls, even we don't enjoy it.
It sucks. Yeah, I agree.
It's like, dude, I just want to see them arm wrestle, and it's a 30-minute fucking match for best out of 5, and it's like, dude, I just want to see them arm wrestling, either win or lose. like
I agree.
It's really hard. That's something, maybe that's a topic for the roundtable too, that we could get some ideas, like how do we make this more interesting for the rest of the world? Because it's us getting the pay-per-views, it's not fucking my neighbor. It's like we're just making the pay-per-views are just making money off of more arm wrestlers watching it. It's not non-arm wrestlers getting an arm wrestling pay-per-view. So how do we change that?
I definitely think the production value adds a lot to it. The walkouts, the smoke, the pyrotechnics, the backstory I think is big too. If you connect with the person that you're watching, you're more apt to watch it too, I think.
If you're going to do the house thing too, you got to have like that one guy that's like pranking everybody. Like it's got to be funny.
Yeah.
Something. There has to be some drama. Like
I agree.
Be 10 guys eating breakfast and you're like, okay, and
Yeah.
you got to have some kind of like some banter or like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it too would have been maybe having both teams in the same house, which Steve did mention maybe doing that next time.
Yeah.
That way there is a little bit of like back talk and stuff, but the same team was kind of like, all right, they're all friendly.
Yeah.
We're just watching them like lay around and leisurely wait.
Another major difference between what the UFC is doing and what, Steve is talking about doing is time. You put these guys in a house for 4 days. That's not enough time for them to forget the cameras are filming and, start to get irritated with each other and have that banter. It's still that awkward, uncomfortable, eat breakfast and kind of keep to yourself mentality.
Yeah. And leading up to like the tournament, like most athletes are in the zone. Like,
yeah,
paying attention to what fucking Joe's eating over there or whatever.
Right.
They're like, okay, I got to be focused.
Right.
Kind of like remember the meet and greet at Knuckles Up?
Yeah, exactly.
So all those guys were in the fucking stands, but they were like headphones on, fucking looking down, and they felt kind of unapproachable.
Yeah.
You didn't want to interrupt their fucking, So, again, like at the prior Knuckles Up, they had them in a room standing up, so they were a little more approachable because they weren't like trying to get in the zone yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's important too to interact like that. Interviews are fun sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's all about production quality.
Yeah, I think the meet and greet has to be at least a day prior to the event too. It was almost go time for those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's go time, and I'm sitting there trolling them. Good.
And you definitely don't want to do the meet and greet after because you'll have one person who's very talkative and the other one.
I was like, oh, I lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We should interview people at our tournaments, dude, but only the losers.
Ooh.
Like, don't even talk to the winners.
That's the worst. I would hate to be interviewed after losing.
Yeah.
I've seen that done before too. And that's rough, man. That's rough. What do you want to say?
I only have losses, so I have 0 wins in arm wrestling in a tournament. Yeah. So I don't even know what it feels like to win a fucking arm wrestling match.
Hey, did he say that there was a live audience too for his events? He mentioned something about like
he did have people. There were people there that he got like that were just watching and people VIP tables. I think he said.
Want to go to the next one?
I was just looking at the comment. Ivan's comment. Said, I hate when people say we need more professional venues. Arm wrestling is a sport. When I go to the Knicks game or Yankees game, I want a beer and food with action. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to the bar scene. I know a lot of guys say that they are, and I think it should be a mixture. I think if you're hosting finals, maybe have it at a nicer venue. But I definitely think people, especially arm wrestlers, we want to chill, man. We want to have a good time,
And I feel like there's little things you can do, like we were talking about. If it's in a bar, you just put up a couple curtains or a banner.
I agree.
At least if you make the live feed look professional and not like you're in a, whatever. But the live feed looking professional is the important part.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're in a shithole bar, as long as you make it look professional on the live feed, people see that and they'll get a more professional thought about what arm wrestling is as a sport.
Yeah, I agree.
Couple curtains, whatever.
That's funny. Actually, in Florida, we're hosting our finals in a bar. Here I am talking shit about finals being in a nice venue.
Oh, you scumbag.
No. But the thing is, too, and I found this out recently, the bar that we're hosting it at, Mudville Grill, apparently this has been going on for like almost 30 years. So it's like a long-standing tradition. So, I mean, who am I to change that? Yeah,
I mean, our tournament next weekend it is a bar. Essentially, it's a brewery.
Right.
They have food and alcohol, and the area we're doing it is actually a music venue.
Yeah.
So there's a stage and lighting. And so if I can find that, other people can find stuff like that too. Like, I've been to some tournaments where I'm looking at the bar and I'm like, dude, this isn't even like a bar you would go to as like a dive bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, like, this is terrible. So a little effort though in looking for places, and you can find some really clutch spots.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I've been to some nicer venues and arm wrestling events. I've even hosted in some nicer venues, And I'll be honest with you. I mean, the ambiance is cool because it's, that professionalism, but there's no food, drinks. Usually it's limited
There
to
has to be
water.
food.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, when there's no food, it's kind of like a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I would say my only hard no is smoking. I don't like when I have to compete and then the place is filled with smoke. I think most athletes would probably agree with that also.
Yeah. Oh, I agree, dude. If smoking, and then as long as there's food, dude, I mean,
yeah.
But most places, part of giving something back to the venue is if they have food and alcohol, at least that's how they're making their money, to let you have the venue for free.
That's a good point. Yeah,
so it's a negotiating point for. I mean, I reached out. Pretty much every state in the fucking world has a Buffalo Wild Wings. I've reached out to Buffalo Wild Wings many times, and they're like, "You can throw a tournament here anytime you want." The problem is not every Buffalo Wild Wings is set up to be able to do one of that.
I was going to say, I love Buffalo Wild Wings, one of my favorite wing places, actually. And I have yet to see one that would accommodate any kind of arm wrestling event. There's no stage. It would be moving tables out of the center of the restaurant.
Yeah. They're all built different. So I guess some of them have more room than others. But I've reached out to them. They've offered to have one there. Actually, Hooters wanted us to have one at their place, but I was like, I don't know. That might be pushing it.
Yeah,
with kids, and I don't know on that one.
One time, Travis Bajan reached out and wanted to co-promote with us at a strip club.
Oh, dude!
And I mean, I guess it's a different avenue, but I just feel like most arm wrestlers, they're family men, and I don't see them.
Oh, dude, we had a guy up here that did that, and like leading up to the fucking tournament, they did a car wash with the strippers out there, like rubbing their asses on cars and getting all sudsy. Then they put it in it, and all the footage, like, even though it was on arm wrestling, you could still see someone, like a chick on stage in the background. And like,
nice.
I was like, dude, that is not the look that we probably want to fucking like, I don't know, dude,
Yeah, I agree.
Especially like, a lot of arm wrestlers bring their kids and this and that. Like, obviously you're not going to bring your kid to a strip club, But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I love dive bars. That's the best place to hang out and have fun and get a drink. But like I said, it's very easy to still make the live feed look professional no matter where it is.
That's true. Yeah. I got an Irish pub that's letting us use their establishment for next year. We're probably going to open in there.
Nice.
And it's a super nice, like, when you see the live feed, you're not going to know it's a bar. It looks like a really nice stage with lighting, and you, like you said, you wouldn't even know, And I think the food and drinks aspect is important.
Yeah,
it needs to be fun, these tournaments. It doesn't need to be all stuffy. That's what the World Championship is for.
Ivan said Hooters would be fire. I probably would. But it would be hard to, like, when you're trying to think of turnout, there's a lot of people that probably might not go because of that.
You think?
Like, religious, maybe some religious people or people with kids. I don't know. Yeah. Hooters is borderline. Like, I think Hooters would probably be fine.
I think it would.
I think a strip club is too far.
But I just wonder, is like, do any Hooters like have live music, or do they have an actual stage or something where we'd be able to set up, or we just move out of the middle of a restaurant? I don't know how that would work.
We did one in a restaurant, dude, where we literally moved all the tables and set it up.
Really?
Yeah, they let us do it. It's called Pals. We moved all the fucking tables. We set up chairs instead.
Yeah.
But because the tournament is starting before they actually open. So, like, we're there at fucking 9 a.m. doing registry.
Okay.
Weigh-ins. Tournament starts at 1. They're, as long as we're done before their dinner rush, they don't give a shit.
Okay.
So, like, and we did one at it was a PJ Wheelahan's. Same thing. It's kind of like an Irish pub type thing, but they have like a stage. Music. So they let us use that. That place was badass, dude. We had a blast there. It was separate from the restaurant, had its own bar in there, and everybody loved it. They let us set up tables, chairs, whatever we wanted. So there are cool venues out there. You just got to look like. And one thing I do with sponsors is like, I'll Google map where our tournament is, and then just hit up the businesses in like a 10-mile radius and be like, hey, we're throwing a tournament right down the street from you. If you sponsor, we'll tell all our guys that are coming that, like, you know, if they need a t-shirt to go to your store or a pizza or fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are willing to sponsor.
Yeah.
I feel too like a lot of promoters shoot too high. Like for small businesses, I'm just like, hey, can you do $100? But if you get 10 of those, there's your $1,000. You know what I mean?
There's a few times where I was deterred by the amount on a sponsorship where even they probably even could have got $1,000 out of me, but you know, they wanted $20,000. I can't afford that. You know, it's too much.
Michael Todd.
Hey. No, I think he only wanted $500.
That was for the bricks.
For the bricks.
But for the sponsorship, it was like 5, 10, or 20. I was like, geez, yeah, we can't do that.
Hey, 500 a brick on the street that's phenomenal pricing.
Oh, that's a good price. Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
A different kind of brick. Can you imagine?
All jokes aside, I really do. I miss Michael Todd's production.
Yeah, no, I liked. They did a really good job.
I agree.
I'll shout out to Robert Kelly. Like, he does a good production.
Yeah.
For like a one-man show.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little salty at him for canceling last minute on us for Winter Blast, but you know, I've always said, dude, that he does good work. And I told him way back, I was like, dude, the first thing you need to do is stop fucking going to AWU with those fucking weirdos.
Did I tell you about the super match I'm trying to get Robert Kelly set up with?
With her,
my daughter.
No.
Listen, I'm telling you.
Did you beat him?
I'll be honest with you.
It's going to be close.
It would be a banger, man. My daughter is stupid strong for 13 years old. It would be a banger.
If he lost to her, that would be fucking awesome.
No. But you know, one thing I'll say about Robert Kelly, and I've seen him at many, many tournaments.
Yeah.
The dude he'll jump right in with the fucking supers, man.
Yeah.
And he don't care. He'll compete in any category.
Yeah. I've arm wrestled Robert. He came to Winter Blast.
Uh-huh.
Not the one we invited.
Go back. You arm wrestled Robert Kelly.
Yeah, I've arm wrestled him, like you know, after pulling kind of thing.
You beat him?
He's not that strong, dude.
Only reason I say it is because I felt like, I mean, granted, it wasn't a tournament, it wasn't a super match, but you got a win under your belt.
No.
It doesn't count.
Do not take my title from me, dude. If that was the case, like me beating Dave Shell at every after pull would count.
That's fair.
But so Robert pulled Danielle Evanson, dude.
How'd that go?
Fucking destroyed him.
Wow. Danielle's strong though. She's super strong.
It was called the sandwich match because he made some comments about the women arm wrestlers saying they belong in the kitchen making sandwiches. So whoever lost the match had to make the other person a sandwich.
Oh, I love it.
So he had to make Danielle a sandwich.
Oh, I love it.
And he lost. So she fucking got a sandwich. It was pretty fucking funny, dude.
Man, that's great.
Oh, Ivan said there's 2 Buffalo Wild Wings in New York with a stage. So like I said, I think it's I think you got to go out to the venue and check it out because there's 3 Buffalo Wild Wings here. And 2 of them, I was like, there's no way. But the third one had enough space where we probably can pull it off.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said, if you're doing it earlier, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that event that Sarah's doing, the beef brawl, that's an interesting concept where they have it's actually like the arm wrestling super matches are entertainment for the people having dinner. You know, I think that's a really cool thing. What about like a comedy club? You know, a comedy club.
I've been thinking of I was thinking like at Winter Blast, it would be cool to have like a comedian walking around trolling everybody.
I love it. Yeah.
But I don't know yet. We got to see. We want to have a tattoo artist there doing tattoos if we can. But dude, I've reached out to like 3 tattoo shops and they're like, nah. And I'm like, dude, are you crazy? Like me and my brother used to own 3 tattoo shops. I'm like, we would have jumped all over an opportunity like that. Had 3-4 fucking stations set up there during the tournament. And you just say like discount on any arm wrestling related tattoos.
You know, a buddy of mine, Justin Paquette, that's in Florida, not too far from me. He owns a tattoo shop and he actually just renovated a school bus
Nice.
Mobile tattoos out of the school bus.
That's cool.
Anytime he comes to practices, he brings the school bus and he brings his whole team.
Yeah, dude.
So, yeah, it's not outside the realm of possibility to have a tattoo artist at an arm wrestling event.
That's what I would love to do, dude. And or even like one of those caricature artists that draws like fucking characters. Right? You know, like everybody could like take poses with each other in the drawing.
Balloon animals, face painting. Let's do it big.
Fucking glory hole in the bathroom.
Okay. All right, too far. Are we on? Is it FTG time? Glory hole?
Oh yeah, not yet. Oh shit.
I'm close to it, right?
Oh, God, I gotta go fucking set it up, dude. 8:30. I'm gonna start getting bitched at.
Yeah.
We went too long, dude. We went too long.
No, I feel like we're gonna have to do a what's next for you, and we'll just fucking interview each other one of these times because I feel like it's almost more entertaining just having us talking than having guests on.
We should do one that's like we introduce each other, and we just do one on what, like, hey, what's next for you, Mikey, and then what's next for you, Ryan, and we just fucking shoot the shit for a half hour.
Or we'll have to make a whole new fucking show. Just
because when it's a guest, like this is supposed to be our more serious podcast, so I don't want to fucking ask the dude like, hey, how many times a week do you masturbate? You know what I mean? Like, but on the FTG one, I will.
Yeah.
This one, trying to be a little more serious, so it's hard to like read how like the guests would handle a little bit of humor in there.
Yeah. So maybe we can do like a segue halfway through, and it's like after hours. So like after we interview them, then we can,
like, now let's get down to the real questions, sir.
I like it.
Are you circumcised?
Oh,
like we'll just go right to that. And they're like, I think I'm going to end this.
Nice. All right. I guess on that note,
is the M spot similar to the G spot?
Hey, oh shit. It's funny you say that because I actually had that thought in my head too.
Anyway, well, yeah, I got to go FTG it up, dude.
All right, yeah, let's go ahead and close this one out, and then
well, hop in later if you're bored.
Have some food, and then I'll jump over onto the other podcast.
Buddy.
So
later.
Take it easy.
See ya.